My beloved child, stop scrolling. This is not random, and it is not late. Your test is over today, and I have called you here because this moment carries weight. I know what you have endured in silence, the battles you never explained, the strength it took just to keep breathing when quitting felt easier. Do not treat these words lightly, for they are not spoken casually. They are released intentionally. Stay with me. Listen closely, lean in, and do not look away. What you are about to hear will shift how you see your past and unlock what comes next. This is not comfort for the weary. This is confirmation for the faithful. If you stay until the end, you will recognize the turning point you have been praying for. Walk away now, and you may miss what heaven has already decided to release. Today, your test is over, and this is where it becomes clear. My beloved child, come and rest your heart here for a moment, because what I am about to tell you must sink deeper than your thoughts and settle into your spirit. You have been walking through a season that felt endless, heavy, and quietly exhausting. There were days you woke up already tired, not from lack of sleep, but from the weight you carried inside. You questioned how much longer you could endure, how many more times you could be strong when no one saw the effort it took just to stand. And yet you stood. You kept going when quitting felt reasonable. You prayed when your prayers felt weak. You hoped even when hope felt foolish. That was the test, my child, not whether you would be perfect, but whether you would remain. And now hear me clearly, without doubt or hesitation. That season has reached its end. The test has fulfilled its purpose. What needed to be revealed had been revealed. What needed to be formed in you had been formed. This was never about breaking you. It was about shaping you into someone who could carry what is coming without losing themselves. The waiting, the resistance, the silence, the repetition, it all at an end point, and you have arrived there now. You are not still almost through. You are through. The door behind you is closing, and the weight you have carried is not meant to follow you forward. I know there were moments when you wondered if the struggle itself was the point, if this was simply how life would always feel, like pushing uphill with no clear view of the top. You questioned whether I had forgotten the promises you once felt so strongly, whether you misunderstood my voice, whether you had failed some invisible requirement. But listen to me now with a quiet heart. The test was never endless, and it was never meant to define you. Tests have boundaries, even when they feel infinite from the inside. I measured this season carefully. I limited what could touch you. I restrained what the enemy wanted to use to crush you. And when you reached the moment where continuing would no longer produce growth, but only weariness, I declared it complete. That is where you are now. Completion does not always arrive with noise or immediate change. Sometimes it arrives as a quiet spiritual verdict spoken over your life. Enough is finished. What you are feeling now, this subtle shift, this strange mixture of exhaustion and relief, this sense that something is different even if you cannot yet name it, that is the sign. The season has turned. The test has ended. You are no longer being evaluated. You are being transitioned. And my child, let me speak to the part of you that still feels cautious, the part that says, I've thought this before. I hoped before. What if I'm wrong again? That caution was learned in pain, and I do not condemn it. But I ask you now to loosen your grip on it, because this moment does not require self-protection. It requires reception. You have spent so long bracing yourself, preparing for the next blow, expecting another delay, another disappointment, another lesson disguised as loss. But this is not that kind of moment. This is a release point. The test was not extended because you were failing. It lasted because you were becoming. And now that becoming has reached maturity, You do not need to prove anything else. You do not need to endure more to qualify. You are not always ready. You are ready. What comes next is not about survival but about alignment, about learning how to live without the constant pressure of proving, striving, and holding everything together alone. Let the truth settle. Your season of testing has reached its end, and you are allowed to step forward without dragging the weight of it behind you. My child, there were moments when you felt invisible, painfully invisible. Moments when you wondered if anyone truly saw how hard you were trying, how much effort it took just to function, to smile, to keep showing up when your heart was quietly unraveling. You felt overlooked, unheard, uncelebrated. You questioned whether your faithfulness mattered when there was no immediate reward, no reassurance, no visible response. But hear me now with absolute clarity. You were never unseen. Not once. Not for a second. I saw every step you took when your legs felt weak. I saw every decision you made to stay kind when bitterness would have been easier. I saw every silent victory. The ones no one applauded. The ones that happened in the privacy of your thoughts. The ones that cost you something internally. While others only saw outcomes, I watched process. While others measured progress by results, I measured it by obedience. And you obeyed me even when it hurt, even when it confused you, even when it felt like nothing was changing. That kind of faith does not go unnoticed in heaven. That kind of endurance is loud to me, even when it feels quiet to you. I need you to understand something important, my child. Silence does not mean absence, and delay does not mean disinterest. There were times when you cried and felt like your words vanished into the air. You replayed prayers in your mind, wondering if you said something wrong, if you lacked faith, if you asked for too much or too little. But I caught every word. I weighed every tear. I listened not only to what you said out loud, but to what your heart was trying to say when words failed you. Even your confusion spoke to me. Even your frustration reached me. I watched you wrestle with doubt and still choose not to walk away. I watched you question and still remain. That mattered more than you realize. I was not waiting for you to be flawless. I was watching to see if you would stay connected. And you did. On days when your faith felt strong, and on days when it barely flickered, you stayed. That is why I say to you now with authority and tenderness, I have been watching every step, and I am pleased with what I have seen. And now let me gently correct the lie that crept in during the waiting. The lie that said, if God really cared, it wouldn't have been this hard. My child, difficulty is not a sign of neglect. Often it is evidence of intentional care. I allowed certain pressures not to punish you, but to reveal you, to you. I needed you to see your own resilience, your own depth, your own capacity to endure without becoming hardened. I watched how you responded when things did not go your way. I watched how you treated people who did not treat you well. I watched how you handled disappointment, delay, and discouragement. And even when you stumbled, even when you felt overwhelmed, you did not abandon your values. You did not abandon me. That is why this season could end now, because the observation phase is complete. The record is full. The evidence is sufficient. Heaven has watched, and heaven has testified on your behalf. Nothing you endured was overlooked. Nothing you gave was wasted. I saw you when no one else did, and I remember it all. Now listen closely, my child, because this is where many misunderstand me and end up carrying unnecessary pain. You thought you were waiting because something was wrong. Wrong timing, wrong choices, wrong circumstances, maybe even a wrong version of you. You assumed the delay meant denial, or worse, disqualification. But hear me clearly now. The delay was not a punishment, it was preparation. I was not withholding out of reluctance. I was holding back out of love. There are things you asked me for that, had I given them to you earlier, would have crushed you instead of completed you. There are doors you begged me to open that would have overwhelmed you had you walked through them with the version of you that existed back then. You were praying for outcomes while I was focused on foundations. You were asking for movement while I was strengthening your footing. Because acceleration without stability does not bless, it destroys. And I love you too much to give you something that would harm you simply because you were impatient for relief. My child, preparation often feels like delay because it happens underground. Roots grow in darkness. Muscles strengthen under resistance. Vision clarifies in stillness. I was expanding your capacity to receive, to steward, to sustain what is coming next. I was teaching you discernment so you would not confuse opportunity with assignment. I was teaching you patience so you would not abandon what takes time to mature. I was teaching you trust so you would not panic every time things moved slowly. You thought you were being stalled, but I was aligning pieces you could not see. I was moving people out of the way. I was removing distractions. I was dismantling versions of your future that looked good but were not good for you. And yes, you hurt. Growth often does. But what you call wasted time, I call necessary time. Time that ensured when the blessing arrived, it would not own you. You would steward it. And now, my beloved, I circle you back to the first truth. The test is over. Which means the preparation phase has reached its threshold. The waiting did its work. The delay achieved its purpose. You are not stepping forward empty-handed. You are stepping forward equipped. What is coming will require wisdom you did not have before, boundaries you had not learned yet, strength you had not developed then. That is why it could not come sooner. But now you are ready. Now the internal structure matches the external opportunity. And now the weight of what I am about to release will not crush you, it will crown you. So do not mourn the time you waited. Do not resent the season that stretched you. Do not replay the what-ifs of earlier arrival. Timing is not about speed, it is about readiness. And today I say to you with certainty, you are ready. My child, one of the deepest wounds you carried through this season was the quiet fear that you were being rejected by people, by opportunity, maybe even by me. You watched doors close that you believed were meant for you. You felt distance where you expected closeness. You experienced resistance where you anticipated relief. And slowly, subtly, a question began to echo in your heart. What is wrong with me? That question did not come from me, but I allowed you to feel it long enough to confront it, because refinement always exposes what rejection tries to convince you is truth. Hear me clearly now, and let this truth cut through every false conclusion you made in pain. You were never being rejected. You were being refined. Rejection discards. Refinement preserves. Rejection pushes away. Refinement draws close, examines carefully, and removes only what would weaken the final form. I did not push you aside. I drew you inward. I did not dismiss you. I disciplined you in love. I did not close doors because you were unworthy. I closed them because you were valuable. Refinement is precise. It is intentional. It is uncomfortable by design. When gold is refined, it is not destroyed. It is heated so impurity rise to the surface and can be removed. The gold remains. That is what I was doing in you. I allowed pressure to reveal what could not stay with you into the next season. Thought patterns that limited you, attachments that drained you, expectations that were too small for what I intend to give you. I let certain things hurt not because I wanted you wounded, but because I wanted you free. Free from needing validation that would later control you. free from approval that would later trap you, free from dependence on voices that would later confuse you. You thought the pain meant something was being taken from you, but in reality, something was being taken out of you. And what remained? Your faith, your integrity, your compassion, your resilience, proved who you truly are. And my child, I know refinement feels personal because it is personal. It touches identity, not just circumstance. That is why it felt so deep, so internal, so hard to explain to anyone else. Others saw external delays, you felt internal shaking. Others thought you were just waiting, you knew you were being changed. There were moments when you barely recognized yourself, when your old reactions no longer fit, but your new strength had not fully formed. That in-between space felt lonely. But that is where refinement happens, in the quiet space between who you were and who you are becoming. I was teaching you discernment, teaching you restraint, teaching you how to hold power without rushing, how to hold silence without peg, how to hold hope without desperation. These are not small lessons. They are not decorative traits. They are structural necessities for what is coming next. And now that the refining fire has done its work, you are emerging clearer, steadier, and more grounded than before. You were never rejected, my child. You were being refined for something that requires purity of heart and strength of spirit. Now listen to me closely, my child, because this truth brings clarity to the intensity of what you endured. There were moments when the pressure felt disproportionate, when you wondered why things seemed harder for you than for others, why the resistance was so persistent, why rest felt elusive. That was not random. That was not imagination. The enemy recognized what was forming in you and attempted to stop it early. Opposition does not arise because you are weak. It intensifies because you are dangerous to darkness. The enemy does not waste effort on what carries no future. He does not fight what poses no threat. The reason the battle was fierce is because the calling is real. The reason the resistance was relentless is because the outcome is significant. But hear me now and let this settle deep in your spirit. He failed. Completely. Thoroughly. Permanently. You are still here. Still breathing. Still believing. Still capable of hope. That alone is evidence of victory. The enemy tried subtle tactics first, whispers of doubt, quiet discouragement, slow erosion of confidence. When that did not work, he escalated confusion, fatigue, isolation, fear. He tried to convince you that your struggle was proof of abandonment. He tried to make you believe your exhaustion meant defeat. He tried to distort your perception so you would misinterpret resistance as rejection and delay as denial. But even when you felt shaken, you did not surrender your core. You questioned, yes, but you did not quit. You stumbled, yes, but you did not stay down. You felt weak, yes, but you did not sever your connection to me. That is where the enemy lost. Not because you were flawless, but because you were faithful. Faithfulness is not loud. It is stubborn. It stays. It holds on. It refuses to let go even when it does not understand. And that kind of faith terrifies the enemy, because he cannot manipulate it with circumstances alone. And now, my beloved, here is the truth that completes this point. What did not break you cannot control you. The strategies that failed cannot be reused. The lies you saw through cannot bind you again. The fear you survived no longer has authority over you. You are not stepping into the next season wounded and unaware. You are stepping in battle-tested and discerning. You know the sound of false urgency now. You recognize counterfeit peace. You can feel when something is forced instead of aligned. These are fruits of victory, not trauma. Do not label your endurance as damage. Do not call your scars weakness. They are evidence that the enemy overplayed his hand and revealed himself too early. You outlasted him. You outgrew his tactics. And now, because the test is over, the warfare shifts. You are no longer fighting to survive. You are learning how to walk forward unafraid. The enemy tried to break you, my child, but instead, you were strengthened. And that strength will carry you into what comes next. My child, I need you to hear this not as a comforting phrase, not as poetic language, but as a divine declaration spoken with authority and certainty. I am proud of you. Not proud in a casual sense, not proud only because you endured, but proud because of how you endured. Proud of the way you carried pain without becoming cruel. Proud of the way you faced disappointment without surrendering your integrity. Proud of the way you kept choosing honesty when shortcuts tempted you, humility when pride could have masked the hurt, patience when impatience felt justified. You measured yourself by what you lacked, but I measured you by what you refused to lose. While you were questioning whether you were doing enough, I was watching how you loved, how you forgave, how you restrained your words when anger knocked at your door. These are not small victories. They are not invisible to me. They are the kind of obedience that heaven records carefully and remembers permanently. You did not merely survive. You remained you. And that is why I am proud. There were so many moments when you thought you disappointed me. When you felt exhausted, when your faith trembled, when you said, I don't know if I can do this anymore. But hear me now. Honest weakness never disappoints me. Pretended strength impresses people. Surrendered weakness moves heaven. I was not looking for flawless performance. I was looking for authentic perseverance. I watched you fall to your knees, not always in prayer, sometimes in exhaustion, and still whisper my name. I watched you show up when no one noticed. I watched you keep your word when breaking it would have been easier. I watched you choose silence instead of retaliation, restraint instead of revenge, mercy instead of bitterness. These are the moments you discounted, but these are the moments that made me proud. Pride, my child, is not about perfection. It is about alignment. And even when you felt off balance, your heart remained aligned with mine. Now listen carefully, because this is where pride becomes purpose. When I say I am proud of you, I am also saying you are trusted. Pride is not just affirmation. It is authorization. I do not entrust greater things to those who rush, boast, or burn others to get ahead. I entrust them to those who have learned patience under pressure, humility under delay, and obedience without applause. You have proven you can be trusted with weight, with silence, with waiting. That is why the season is shifting now. Pride precedes promotion, not the pride of self, but the pride of the father who knows his child can carry what comes next without losing their soul. Let this truth settle. I am proud of you, and that pride is the foundation of what I am about to place in your hands. My beloved child, faith is easy when answers are immediate and outcomes are clear. But the faith that transforms lives is the faith that stands without proof, without reassurance, without applause. That is the faith you carried. Your faith was not loud. It was not dramatic. It did not always feel confident, but it was real. It stood in the silence. It stood in the delay. It stood when emotions contradicted truth and circumstances challenged hope. That is why I say to you now with holy emphasis, your faith was tested, and it stood. Not because you never doubted, but because you never detached. You questioned, yes, but you stayed connected. You struggled, yes, but you did not walk away. You wrestled, yes, but you did not let go. That is the kind of faith that moves heaven, not the kind that pretends, but the kind that persists. The test of your faith was not whether you believed everything would go your way. The test was whether you would still trust me when it did. Whether you would still pray when answers were delayed. Whether you would still hope when evidence was thin. Whether you would still love me when obedience felt costly. Faith, my child, is not proven in comfort. It is revealed in conflict. And your faith revealed endurance, sincerity, and depth. You did not trade it for convenience. You did not abandon it when it stopped benefiting you immediately. You did not use me as a tool, you treated me as your anchor. That is why your faith qualified you. Not because it was impressive, but because it was genuine. Heaven does not respond to performance. It responds to perseverance. And now I tell you this so you understand what is unfolding. Tested faith becomes transferable authority. What you stood through will now support others. What you survived will now stabilize you. What once shook you will no longer move you. Your faith is no longer fragile. It is forged. Forged in waiting. Forged in disappointment. Forged in unanswered prayers and quiet obedience. This is why the next season will feel different. You will walk with a steadiness you did not have before. You will trust without panic. You will hope without desperation. You will pray without fear of silence. Because you have learned that even when you cannot feel me, I am still faithful. And that knowledge, earned, not borrowed, will carry you forward. Your faith was tested, my child, and it stood. And because it stood, it now stands as the doorway into what comes next. My beloved child, I know the losses you do not speak about easily. Not the obvious ones that others noticed, but the quiet ones, the expectations that faded, the relationships that dissolved without explanation, the versions of the future you carried in your heart that never arrived. You grieved them silently, telling yourself to be strong, to be grateful, to move on. But grief does not disappear when it is ignored. It settles. And I saw it settle in you. You wondered if the cost was too high, if obedience demanded too much, if trusting me meant continually letting go. You asked yourself whether the things you lost were taken because you failed or because you misunderstood me. Hear me now with clarity and compassion. What you lost was not stolen. It was released. And release does not mean erasure. It means repositioning. It means timing. It means transformation. Loss is not always removal. Sometimes it is relocation. There are things that could not stay with you in the form you knew them, because they were not meant to end, but they were meant to change. Some losses were temporary, though they felt permanent. Some endings were not conclusions, but interruptions. I allowed certain things to fall away not because they were bad, but because they were incomplete. They could not grow where you were going. They could not mature in the soil of your next season. And yes, it hurt. Loss always hurts, even when it is purposeful. But hear this truth and let it reframe your memory. I am not a God who takes without intention to restore. I am not a father who subtracts joy without planning greater alignment. What you lost will not be lost forever, not because everything returns in the same shape, but because nothing surrendered to me ever disappears. My child, there is a difference between loss caused by disobedience and loss that accompanies obedience. The first teaches correction. The second prepares expansion. Many of the things you lost were not punishments. They were provisions in disguise. They protected you from carrying forward what would later break under the weight of blessing. They removed attachments that would have limited you. They cleared space for peace, space for clarity, space for something new that requires room to arrive. You thought you were being emptied, but you were being prepared to receive. And now, as the test ends, restoration begins, not always as replacement, but as redemption. What you lost will be repurposed. What you grieved will be honored. What you released will return either transformed or replaced by something that fits you better than before. I have not forgotten what you laid down. I remember every sacrifice, and I am faithful to complete what obedience began. My child, as you hear that nothing surrendered to me is ever erased, know this also: what you sow now carries my voice to others who are still bleeding quietly. I am opening doors not only for your restoration, but for the healing of souls who will hear this word because you chose obedience in giving. When you release through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are placing seed into living soil, and I am the Lord of the harvest. I say to you now, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and this seed will return to you pressed down, protected, and multiplied. This is not a donation. It is alignment. This is not loss. It is legacy. I am inviting you, yes, you, to help carry light where shadows still linger. Act now. So now. The PayPal link is in the video description. Open it immediately and obey. Now listen, my beloved, because this truth touches the deepest ache of all. There were seasons when my voice felt distant, when prayer felt one-sided, when worship felt heavy, when heaven seemed quiet. You wondered if I had stepped back, if I was disappointed, if I was waiting for you to do something differently before responding. Silence can feel like abandonment when you do not understand its purpose. But hear me clearly now. My silence was never absence. I did not leave the room. I did not turn away. I did not withdraw my love or my attention. I was closer than ever, working where noise would have distracted you, shaping where words would have interfered. Silence is not neglect. It is often concentration. When a craftsman works on fine detail, he does not shout. He focuses. When a surgeon performs delicate work, the room grows quiet. When I am doing my deepest work in you, I often quiet external reassurance so internal trust can grow. I was teaching you to recognize my presence without depending on constant confirmation. Teaching you to trust my character instead of my volume. Teaching you that faith does not require continuous explanation. The silence was not a test of my care, it was an invitation into maturity. You were learning to walk without being carried, to listen without being told, to trust without being shown. And though it felt lonely at times, you were never alone. My child, I was present in every quiet moment you thought was empty. I was in the pause between prayers and answers. I was in the stillness that followed disappointment. I was in the breath you took when you thought you could not continue. Even when you could not feel me, I was holding you steady. Even when you thought nothing was happening, I was aligning outcomes, timing, and hearts. Silence was not the absence of my voice, it was the presence of my hand. And now that the season is shifting, you will begin to recognize my work retroactively. You will see how I guided without speaking, protected without warning, and prepared without announcing. The silence did not mean I was gone. It meant I was near, closer than you realized, working deeper than you could see. My child, there are moments in life that look ordinary on the outside but are seismic on the inside. This is one of them. You may wake up today and everything appears the same room, the same responsibilities, the same unanswered questions, but something beneath the surface has shifted. Today is not just another day, it is a turning point. Turning points are rarely announced with trumpets. They arrive quietly, decisively, and irrevocably. They are moments when heaven redraws the map of your life, when what was once uphill begins to level, when resistance loosens its grip, when momentum quietly changes direction. You have crossed a line you did not see, but I did. A line between enduring and emerging. a line between surviving and stabilizing, a line between waiting and moving. And once that line is crossed, you do not go back, not emotionally, not spiritually, not directionally. I know you are cautious because you have hoped before. You have told yourself, maybe this is the moment, only to be disappointed again. That history taught you to guard your expectations. But hear me now, this turning point is not built on emotion, it is built on completion. The test is finished. The lessons are learned. The refinement is complete. That is why today carries weight. What shifts now is not fragile, it is structural. It does not depend on how you feel. It is anchored in what has already been decided in the unseen. This is the kind of turning point that unfolds gradually but decisively. Like dawn breaking, like winter loosening its grip, like a locked door quietly opening because the right key has finally arrived. You are stepping into a phase where effort produces fruit again, where prayers feel lighter, where progress no longer requires constant strain. Not because life becomes effortless, but because alignment replaces resistance. And my child, I want you to mark this moment internally. Not with pressure, not with urgency, but with recognition. Recognition is powerful. It tells your spirit, I am not stuck anymore. It tells your heart, I am allowed to hope without fear. It tells your future, I am ready to move forward. Turning points do not always change everything instantly, but they change direction, and direction determines destination. From this day forward, you are no longer circling the same lessons. You are walking away from them. The conversations in your mind will change. The way you respond to challenges will change. The pace of your healing will change. Today marks a turning point. Not because everything is finished, but because everything has begun to move again. My beloved child, you have lived in survival mode longer than you realize. Survival mode is quiet, tense, exhausting. It teaches you to brace instead of breathe, to endure instead of enjoy, to prepare for impact instead of expecting peace. In survival mode, rest feels unsafe. Joy feels temporary. Hope feels risky. You become skilled at managing stress, at minimizing disappointment, at carrying weight without complaint. Others may have admired your strength, but they did not see the cost of it. They did not see how tightly you held yourself together, how rarely you let your guard down, how often you chose functionality over freedom. But hear me now with tenderness and authority. You are stepping out of survival mode. The season that required constant alertness is ending. The environment that demanded hypervigilance is changing. You no longer need to live braced for the next blow. Stepping out of survival mode can feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, at first. When you have lived with tension for so long, peace can feel strange. Your body may not know how to relax yet. Your mind may still scan for threats that are no longer present. That is normal. Do not judge yourself for it. Feeling is not instant forgetting. It is gradual relearning. I am teaching you how to live without constant pressure, how to rest without guilt, how to trust without rehearsing worst-case scenarios. Survival taught you how to endure storms. Now I am teaching you how to live in calmer waters. This transition requires patience with yourself. You are unlearning habits that once kept you safe but now keep you tired. And I am with you in that unlearning process. My child, survival mode was necessary, but it was never meant to be permanent. You were built for more than coping. You were built for connection, creativity, peace, and purpose. As you step out of survival mode, you will notice subtle changes. Your breath deepening, your thoughts slowing, your reactions softening. You will begin to respond instead of react. You will begin to plan instead of just endure. You will begin to feel again, not only pain, but joy. This is not weakness, it is restoration. It is the sign that your nervous system, your spirit, and your heart are finally receiving the message that the danger has passed. You are safe. You are supported. You are no longer just getting through the day. You are beginning to live within it. And that, my beloved, is one of the clearest signs that the test is truly over. My child, there is a sacred moment when learning gives way to living, when instruction gives way to inheritance. That moment has arrived for you now. The lessons are complete. Not because you learn everything there is to learn, but because you learn everything the season was assigned to teach you. There is a difference. You were not in an endless classroom. You were in a specific course with a defined curriculum. Every delay, every disappointment, every unanswered prayer was part of that syllabus. You learned patience when you wanted speed. You learned discernment when you wanted certainty. You learned endurance when you wanted relief. You learned to trust me without constant reassurance. These lessons were not theoretical. They were experiential. They were etched into your responses, your reactions, your inner dialogue. That is how I teach best, not with lectures but with lived truth. And now that the lessons have done their work, repetition is no longer required. I know there is a part of you that fears regression, that wonders, what if I fail again? What if I end up back here? Completion does not mean perfection. It means readiness. You do not need to retake what you have already passed. I do not recycle lessons to torment my children. I move them forward when growth is achieved. The season that demanded constant self-examination is ending. You no longer need to dissect every setback for hidden meaning or assume every delay is a test. Not everything ahead will be instructional. Much of it will be expressive, an opportunity to live out what you already carry. You are graduating from learning how to stand to learning how to walk freely, from learning how to survive to learning how to steward peace. And my beloved, hear this with relief rather than pressure. Graduation does not require ceremony to be real. There may not be a single dramatic moment that announces it. Instead, you will notice repetition ending. The same emotional traps will no longer catch you. The same triggers will no longer control you. The same confusion will no longer linger. You will respond differently without trying. You will choose differently without forcing. That is how you know the lessons are complete. When wisdom becomes instinct. This is not the end of growth. It is the end of that growth cycle. You are not stuck. You are not delayed. You are not behind. You have learned what you needed to learn, and now you are released to move forward without carrying the classroom on your back. Now listen closely, my child, because this is where movement becomes visible. What was held back is being released, not withheld in punishment, but reserved in wisdom. There are things I shielded you from until the right moment. Not because you were unworthy, but because timing is protection. Blessings released too early become burdens. Opportunities offered too soon become traps. I was not saying no, I was saying not yet. And now that not yet has become now. The gates that felt immovable are loosening. The answers that felt delayed are aligning. The momentum that seemed absent is beginning to stir. This release will not always arrive all at once, but it will arrive with consistency, like a steady stream replacing a dry riverbed. What I am releasing includes clarity where there was confusion, provision where there was strain, connection where there was isolation, and opportunity where there was stagnation. Some releases will be subtle at first, a conversation that opens a door, an idea that carries weight, a peace that replaces anxiety. Do not underestimate small beginnings. Release does not always announce itself loudly. It proves itself faithfully. As you walk forward, you will notice things responding to you differently. Resistance will lessen. Timing will align. What once required excessive effort will begin to flow. That is not coincidence. It is coordination. Heaven is responding to completion. When the lesson ends, the release begins. And my child, let me address this gently, but clearly. Do not rush the release or try to control its shape. Trust the process as you trusted the waiting. You do not need to chase what is coming. It is being drawn to you by alignment, not ambition. Stay grounded. Stay grateful. Stay open. Release is not only about receiving, it is about stewardship. I am giving you what you can now carry with wisdom, humility, and peace. And as you steward well, more will follow. This is not a single moment. It is a new rhythm. What was held back is being released because you are ready. Not because you demanded it, but because you became prepared for it. And that, my beloved, is how heaven moves. My child, there were many times you obeyed me when it made no logical sense. Times you chose restraint when expression would have felt justified. Times you stayed when leaving would have felt easier. Times you released control when everything in you wanted to manage the outcome. You called it doing the right thing. Heaven called it obedience. And obedience, when offered in silence and sincerity, carries weight far beyond what you can see. It is not dramatic obedience that moves doors. It is consistent obedience, the kind no one celebrates, the kind that costs you internally, the kind that requires trust without guarantee. That is the obedience that opens doors not by force, but by authority. And now I tell you plainly, your obedience has opened doors that effort alone never could. You may not have seen immediate reward, and that confused you. You wondered why choosing integrity seemed to slow you down while compromise appeared to accelerate others. But hear me, shortcuts create quick access with shallow foundations. Obedience builds deep access with lasting authority. I was not preparing you for momentary opportunity. I was preparing you for sustained positioning. The doors opening now are not fragile. They are not conditional on performance or approval. They are doors no one can shut because they were not opened by persuasion or pressure, but by alignment. Alignment with truth. Alignment with timing. Alignment with who you are becoming. These doors respond to your presence, not your striving. You will notice that you do not have to force conversations anymore. You will notice that access comes without manipulation. You will notice that opportunities recognize you before you announce yourself. That is the fruit of obedience quietly practiced over time. And my beloved, I want you to understand something vital so you do not shrink back when doors open. Obedience has prepared you to walk through without fear. You are not stepping into rooms you are unqualified for. You are not being invited into spaces that will expose you. You belong where I am leading you. Your obedience shaped your character before it shaped your circumstances. That is why you will not lose yourself in what is coming. You will not abandon your values to stay. You will not compromise your peace to remain relevant. You will walk through open doors with humility, clarity, and strength. And when you look back, you will realize something profound. The doors did not open suddenly. They opened because you stayed obedient when nothing appeared to be happening. That obedience did not delay you. It positioned you. Now listen gently, my child, because this truth arrives like a whisper, not a shout. Peace is returning to your heart. Not the kind of peace that depends on everything being perfect, but the kind that settles even when questions remain. For so long, your heart lived in tension, anticipating, bracing, calculating, preparing. You became accustomed to unrest. It felt normal to be on edge, to carry low-level anxiety, to rehearse possibilities just in case something went wrong. But that was survival, not life. And now that season is ending, peace is not something you must chase. It is something you are being restored to. It is your natural state in me. And it is returning slowly, steadily, faithfully. You may notice it first in small ways. Your thoughts may quiet sooner at night. Your body may relax without you forcing it. Your reactions may soften where they once escalated. You may find yourself breathing deeper without realizing why. These are not accidents. These are signals that your nervous system is learning safety again. Signals that your spirit recognizes stability. Signals that the internal alarm system that stayed active for too long is finally powering down. Peace does not arrive as an event. It arrives as a repatterning, a rewiring of expectation. You are learning that you do not have to stay alert to be prepared, that you do not have to worry to be wise, that you do not have to suffer to be faithful. That learning takes time, and I am patient with you. My child, peace is not weakness. It is strength at rest. It is confidence without noise. It is trust that no longer needs to argue. As peace returns, you may feel moments of unfamiliar stillness, and that may feel strange at first. Do not run from it. Do not fill it with unnecessary noise. Let it teach you. Let it settle. Let it heal places that were never meant to carry so much strain. Peace is proof that the test is over. Proof that your heart no longer needs to fight to stay standing. Proof that you are safe enough now to exhale. And as peace takes root, clarity will follow. Joy will follow. Creativity will follow. Because peace is not the end, it is the foundation. And now, my beloved, I am laying that foundation gently but firmly within you. My child, one of the quietest but most damaging lies you carried through your test was this: I am behind. Behind where you thought you should be. Behind where others appear to be. Behind the timeline you imagined for your life. That lie did not shout. It whispered. It showed up when you compared your progress to someone else's highlight. It surfaced when birthdays passed, when milestones shifted, when plans took longer than expected. And slowly, subtly, it tried to convince you that delay meant deficiency, that timing meant failure, that waiting meant you had somehow missed your moment. Hear me now with clarity and compassion. You are not behind. Not by a single step. Not by a single season. Not by a single breath. Heaven does not operate on comparison, and destiny does not move on human clocks. My child, being behind only exists when the destination is wrong. You assumed you were meant to arrive where others arrived, when they arrived, how they arrived. But your path was never a replica. It was custom. It was intentional. It was designed with detours that taught you wisdom, pauses that taught you patience, and delays that protected you from arriving too soon. You were not late, you were learning. You were not stalled, you were strengthening. You were not missing opportunities, you were being spared from ones that would have cost you peace. If you had arrived earlier, you would have carried less discernment. If you had progressed faster, you would have lacked depth. Bit addresses people, timing preserves purpose. I am not interested in how quickly you can reach something if it breaks you when you get there. And my beloved, let me speak directly to the comparison that still tries to rise in you. Comparison is a thief, not of opportunity, but of gratitude. It makes you despise your own journey and distrust my timing. It tells you that visibility equals value and that progress must always be loud. But I measure differently. I measure my readiness, not by ranking. I measure by wholeness, not by headlines. I measure by alignment, not by applause. You are exactly where you need to be to receive what is next. No rerouting required. No catching up required. No apology necessary. The idea that you are behind will not survive this season if you refuse to carry it forward. Release it now. Lay it down. You are not late. You are not delayed. You are right on time. My child. Now that you know you are not behind, understand this. Your obedience in this moment is perfectly timed. I do not call the unready to give. I call those whose hearts are aligned with my rhythm. When you support this work through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you become a runner in my timing, carrying manna to those who think they missed me. I declare over you now, I will restore the years the locust has eaten, and your generosity will accelerate what delay once touched. This is not about catching up. It is about stepping in. I am breathing on this mission, and I am asking you to place your hand to it. Do not hesitate. Give now. The PayPal link is waiting in the video description. Move as I lead you. Now listen carefully, my child, because this truth prepares your heart so you do not misinterpret ease as danger or peace as complacency. What comes next will be different. Different in tone. Different in texture. Different in weight. You have grown accustomed to struggle being the signal that something is meaningful. You learn to associate progress with pressure and purpose with pain. But that association was forged in a season that has now ended. The next season will not demand the same kind of suffering to produce growth. It will still require faith, but not the same fight. It will still require obedience, but not the same exhaustion. It will still require courage, but not the same constant resistance. This does not mean life becomes effortless. It means life becomes aligned. You may notice that things begin to work with you instead of against you. Conversations flow where they once stalled. Decisions feel clear where they once felt heavy. Doors open without you forcing them. Rest comes without guilt. This may feel unfamiliar at first, even suspicious. You may catch yourself waiting for something to go wrong, because ease feels undeserved after so much endurance. But hear me, this is not a trap. This is transition. You are not losing your edge. You are gaining stability. You are not becoming careless. You are becoming confident. The struggle trained you, but it does not get to define you forever. There is a difference between a season that forms you and a season that rewards you. You are crossing the threshold now. And my beloved, let me ground you in this so you do not sabotage what is coming by old reflexes. Different does not mean instant. It means sustainable. It means growth without burnout. It means progress without panic. It means faith without constant fear of collapse. You will still face challenges, but they will not feel like they are testing your existence. They will feel manageable, purposeful, and proportionate. You will not need to prove yourself again. You will not need to re-earn my favor. You will not need to relive the same lessons in a different costume. What comes next will be different because you are different. You are wiser. You are steadier. You are more anchored than before. And because of that, the season ahead will meet you with cooperation instead of conflict. This is not the absence of growth. It is the fruit of growth. My child, transitions are holy ground, even when they feel unstable. You are leaving what was familiar, even if it was painful, and stepping towards something new that is not fully formed yet. That in-between space can feel unsettling. You are no longer who you were, but not yet living fully in what is next. And in that space, the instinct to control rises. You want clarity before movement, guarantees before obedience, certainty before trust. But hear me now. Trust is not demanded in transitions. It is cultivated. I am not asking you to leap blindly. I am asking you to walk with me, step by step, breath by breath, decision by decision. You learn survival by managing outcomes. You learn endurance by bracing for impact. But this transition requires something different: surrendered confidence. Confidence, not in your ability to predict what is coming, but in my ability to guide you through it. I will not rush you. I will not overwhelm you. I will not abandon you mid-transition. Every step you take will be met by my presence. Every pause you need will be honored. You do not have to know the full picture to take the next faithful step. Transitions are not tests of speed. They are invitations to intimacy. This is where trust deepens, not because everything is clear, but because you have seen my faithfulness behind you and are now learning to rely on it ahead of you. My beloved, resist the urge to carry old coping mechanisms into new territory. You do not need hypervigilance where there is safety. You do not need self-protection where there is provision. You do not need to control what I am already coordinating. Let me lead without interference. Let me set the pace. Let me show you when to move and when to rest. Trust me with the transition, not because you feel brave, but because I am steady. This season does not require you to prove your strength. It requires you to receive guidance. And I am here, closer than your breath, committed to walking you through every unfamiliar step. Now listen gently, my child, because joy returns quietly at first. I am restoring your joy, not the loud, reckless kind, but the deep, steady kind that survives storms and does not disappear when circumstances shift. You have lived so long in seriousness, in responsibility, in emotional restraint, that joy began to feel childish or risky. You told yourself there would be time for joy later, after things stabilized, after problems resolved, after you felt safe. But joy is not a reward for surviving. It is a gift that sustains you while living. And now that the test is over, joy is no longer postponed. It is returning. You may notice it in unexpected places. A laugh that surprises you. A moment of peace that lingers. A sense of lightness that replaces heaviness without explanation. Do not dismiss these moments. Do not question them. Do not brace for them to disappear. Joy is not fragile when it comes from me. It is resilient. It is rooted. It does not depend on everything being perfect. It thrives when you are aligned. I am restoring your capacity to enjoy, to dream, to feel without fear of collapse. Joy does not mean you forget what you survived. It means what you survived no longer defines you. My beloved, joy will teach you how to live again without armor. It will soften places that hardened in self-defense. It will awaken creativity that was buried under stress. It will remind you that you are allowed to delight, not just endure. As joy returns, you may feel vulnerable. That is normal. Vulnerability is the doorway to joy, just as control is the enemy of it. Let joy come without interrogation. Let it stay without fear. This restoration is not temporary relief. It is a recalibration of your heart. You are not being teased with happiness, you are being reintroduced to it. And as joy takes root, you will discover something holy. You are allowed to be well. My child, you have underestimated yourself for a long time, not out of humility but out of habit formed by hardship. You learned to downplay your strength because acknowledging it felt dangerous. You thought that if you admitted how strong you were, the burden would increase, the expectations would rise, and the pressure would return. So you learned to say, "I'm just doing my best," while quietly carrying far more than you ever should have had to. But hear me now, without deflection, or denial, you are stronger than you realize. Not loud strength, not aggressive strength, but enduring, resilient, faithful strength, the kind that survives storms without becoming the storm, the kind that bends without breaking, the kind that continues to love, to believe, to hope, even when exhausted. Your strength did not come from ease. It was forged in repetition, in waiting, in choosing to stand up one more time when lying down felt justified. You survived the things you once believed would undo you. You endured seasons that would have hollowed out others. You carried weight that required maturity beyond your years. And still, you remain tender. That is not common strength. That is refined strength. Strength that does not announce itself, but reveals itself over time. You thought you were barely holding on, but I saw you adapting, learning, growing. You thought you were failing, but I saw you stabilizing. Strength is not measured by how little you feel. It is measured by how much you carry without losing who you are. And now, my beloved, I need you to see your strength not as a burden, but as a resource. You are not strong so you can suffer more. You are strong so you can steward more. More peace, more responsibility, more influence, more life. This strength will no longer be used to endure pain. It will be used to sustain purpose. You are not being asked to go back into battle. You are being invited to walk forward with confidence. Confidence that you can handle what comes next without fear of collapse. Confidence that even if challenges arise, you will not unravel. You have already proven your capacity. Now stop questioning it. Stop minimizing it. Stop pretending you are fragile when I have made you resilient. You are stronger than you realize. And now that strength will serve you, not strain you. Now listen carefully, my child, because this is where healing becomes a choice. Stop rehearsing the pain. Not because it did not matter, not because it was insignificant, but because it no longer has authority. Pain that is revisited repeatedly does not become wisdom. It becomes a script. A script that shapes expectations, reactions, and fear. You replay conversations. You revisit losses. You relive moments where things went wrong, telling yourself you are being cautious, being realistic, being prepared. But what you are really doing is keeping old wounds active long after they have served their purpose. Reflection can heal, but rehearsal reopens. And you have reached a moment where holding on no longer protects you, it restricts you. I know why you rehearse the pain. It is how you learn to survive. You told yourself, if I remember how much it hurt, I won't be caught off guard again. But hear me now. You do not need to live in memory to stay safe. Wisdom does not require constant replay. Growth does not require constant review. You have already learned what you needed to learn. You have already extracted the lesson. Continuing to revisit the pain will not deepen insight. It will delay freedom. The chapter taught you. It does not get to define you. Closure does not always come from understanding everything. Sometimes it comes from choosing to stop returning to the scene. My beloved, this is not denial, it is direction. I am not asking you to forget, I am asking you to release. Release the emotional weight. Release the internal commentary. Release the expectation that pain must precede peace. You do not need to keep checking the wound to see if it still hurts. Healing has begun. Let it finish its work. When memories surface, do not dwell. When old narratives try to resurface, do not entertain them. Replace rehearsal with gratitude. Replace replay with presence. Replace fear with trust. The past does not need your attention anymore. The future does. Stop rehearsing the pain, not because it did not matter, but because you matter more now. My child, there is a sacred difference between believing something is possible and allowing yourself to receive it. You have believed for a long time, believed through pain, through waiting, through silence. But belief alone is not the final step. Receiving is. And receiving requires vulnerability. It requires letting go of the armor you wore during survival. It requires releasing the habit of suspicion that asks, how long will this last? Or what will it cost me? You learn to protect yourself by staying guarded, by keeping one foot braced in case the ground shifted again. That was wisdom in a storm. But storms have seasons, and this one has passed. Now I say to you gently but firmly, receive this moment. Do not analyze it away. Do not delay it with doubt. Do not stand at the doorway rehearsing why it might collapse. Step in. Receiving does not mean everything is resolved. It means you allow what is to bless you without resistance. It means you accept peace without interrogating it, joy without apologizing for it, progress without questioning whether you deserve it. You have lived so long measuring yourself by endurance that ease feels suspicious. You have equated blessing with pressure and growth with strain. But this moment does not need your vigilance. It needs your openness. This moment is not asking for effort. It is offering alignment. Receiving is an act of faith just as much as waiting was. Waiting said, I trust you even when nothing moves. Receiving says, I trust you now that something is moving. Both require courage. Both require surrender. My beloved, I know there is a voice in you that says, don't get too hopeful. Don't lean too far in. Stay ready in case it changes. That voice once protected you, but now it limits you. You cannot fully receive while half expecting loss. You cannot inhabit peace while rehearsing departure. You cannot enjoy the present while constantly guarding against the future. This is not carelessness, this is confidence. I am not giving you a fragile gift. I am inviting you into a stable season. Receive the moment as it is, not as a test, not as a tease, not as a temporary distraction, but as a genuine shift. Let gratitude replace analysis. Let presence replace prediction. Let trust replace tension. You are allowed to be here, fully here, without bracing for impact. Receive this moment, my child, because it is real, it is intentional, and it is meant for you. Now listen closely, my beloved, because fear had been your companion for longer than you realize. Not loud fear, quiet fear. The kind that whispers, be careful, even when nothing is wrong. The kind that tightens your chest when things go well. The kind that prepares you for loss instead of possibility. That fear was understandable in a season of instability. But it is no longer necessary. Walk forward without fear. Not because nothing difficult will ever happen again, but because you are no longer unprepared, unsupported, or unaware. Fear loses its authority when you understand who walks with you and what you carry now. Walking forward without fear does not mean forgetting what you survived. It means refusing to let past pain predict future outcomes. Fear says, what if it happens again? Faith says, even if something happens, I will not be alone, and I will not fall apart. You have already lived through uncertainty and come out standing. You have already faced loss and learned how to heal. You have already endured silence and discovered that my presence does not depend on noise. Fear's power was built on the assumption that you would not survive again. But that assumption has been dismantled by experience. You are not fragile the way you once were. You are grounded, discerning, and anchored. Fear no longer tells the truth about you. My child, walking forward without fear is not reckless. It is rooted. It means you move with awareness, not anxiety. It means you make decisions from peace, not panic. It means you stop shrinking your life to avoid pain and start expanding it to honor growth. Fear kept you alert. Now peace will keep you aligned. You do not need to rush, but you do need to move. Step by step, breath by breath, day by day. I am ahead of you, beside you, and within you. You will not miss what is meant for you. You will not lose what I have secured. You will not be abandoned mid-journey. Walk forward without fear, my beloved, not because you are invincible, but because you are accompanied. My child, I speak this now not as comfort, but as authority. Your test is truly over. Not paused, not extended, not repeating in a new disguise. Finished. Complete. There are seasons when endurance is required, and seasons when agreement is required. This is the season of agreement. Agreement with what I have already declared in the unseen. Agreement that the cycle has closed. Agreement that you no longer need to prove, perform, or push through the same resistance again. You have crossed the threshold quietly, faithfully, and completely. And now I ask you to stop living as though the exam is still in front of you when the results have already been released. Tests linger in the mind when fear refuses to let go. You may catch yourself still bracing, still waiting for the next challenge to validate whether you passed. But hear me. The validation is not coming because it is no longer needed. You are not under evaluation. You are under covering. The test measured your faith, your integrity, your patience, your trust. And you passed, not because you were perfect, but because you remained. You stayed soft when you could have hardened. You stayed connected when you could have withdrawn. You stayed obedient when results were delayed. Heaven does not require more evidence. The record is complete. The season has been marked fulfilled. Now I need you to participate in the ending. Endings are not passive. They require release. Release the posture of strain. Release the expectation of constant difficulty. Release the identity of the one who is always pushing through. That identity kept you alive in the storm, but it is not meant to follow you into calm waters. Do not carry survival habits into a season designed for stability. Say it within yourself, even if your emotions lag behind the truth. This test is over. Agreement accelerates transition. When you agree with heaven, your soul catches up to your destiny. The test is not ending soon, my child. It has already ended. And now live accordingly. My beloved child, do not look for a dramatic sound or sudden spectacle. A new season begins now. Often the way dawn arrives, quietly, steadily, unmistakably. This season does not announce itself with urgency. It reveals itself with consistency. It will be marked not by constant struggle, but by sustained peace. Not by frantic effort, but by faithful progress. Not by repeated breakdowns, but by growing confidence. You are stepping into a chapter where life responds differently to you because you respond differently to life. What once drained you will no longer dominate you. What once intimidated you will no longer define you. What once confused you will now make sense in retrospect. This new season will invite you to live, not just endure. To build, not just recover. To enjoy, not just survive. And because it is unfamiliar, you may be tempted to rush, to fill space, to over-explain. Resist that. Let the season unfold at its own holy pace. This is a season of planting without panic, of growth without grind, of fruit without fear. You will still need wisdom. You will still need prayer. But you will no longer need constant defense. I am not calling you into intensity. I am calling you into intentionality. Every step will matter, not because it is heavy, but because it is aligned. My child, open your heart immediately, not to pressure but to possibility. Do not stand at the doorway wondering if you deserve to enter. You do. Do not hesitate because you cannot see the full path. You do not need to. I am already there. Step forward with gratitude, not suspicion. With trust, not tension. With hope, not hesitation. This season is not a reward for suffering. It is the continuation of faithfulness. And I will walk with you through it just as I walked with you through the test. But now, the air is lighter, the ground is steadier, and the future is open. A new season begins now, my beloved child. And you are ready. My beloved child, as this new season opens before you, I invite you to plant in it immediately. Every new beginning requires seed, and what you give now becomes oil for lamps, fire for voices, and rivers for dry hearts who need my word. When you support through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you step into partnership with what I am birthing, not later, but now. I speak this over you. Give, and it will be given to you, overflowing, guarded, and full of favor. This is a divine appointment, not a suggestion. I am trusting you with increase because I can trust your heart. Open the PayPal link in the video description and give now. Step forward and seal this season with obedience. My beloved child, do not let this moment pass without agreement. If this word touched you, declare it openly. Type in the comments, "My test is over. I receive my new season." Let your declaration be a doorway, your words be a witness, your faith be audible. When you speak it, you align your heart with what heaven has already decided. Do not stay silent at the threshold. Step forward, speak boldly, and mark this moment. Your task is over, and your declaration seals it. And once you have spoken it, do not hurry past the threshold you have just crossed. A new season does not begin with noise, it begins with stillness. You have declared the end of the test, and now your heart must settle into what comes next. This is the space between closing one chapter and stepping into another. So slow down for a moment, because when heaven shifts your season, I draw you closer before I move you forward. My child, pause right now. Be still. Do not rush past these words, for this is a divine appointment I have set specifically for you. I am here. I am speaking directly to your heart, past the noise of the world, past the worries that crowd your mind, and straight into the center of your soul. I want you to take a deep breath. Breathe in my peace. Breathe out the heavy weight you have been carrying for so long. I see you, my beloved child. I see the real you, not the version you show to your friends, not the smiling face you put on at church or at work, but the you that exists when the door is closed and the lights are out. I have witnessed the nights you felt completely abandoned. I was there in the darkness when you stared at the ceiling at 3 a.m., wondering how you were going to make it through another week. I heard the questions you were too afraid to ask out loud, the questions about why this is happening, why the breakthrough is taking so long, and if I had somehow forgotten your address. You have walked through a valley of shadows. I know about the pressure you feel at your job, the fear that you might not be enough, and the anxiety that grips your chest when you look at your bank account. I see the tension in your family, the words that were spoken that cut you deep, and the silent treatments that hurt even more. You feel overlooked. You feel like you are shouting into a void and no one is listening. But I am listening. I have counted every single tear you have shed in secret. Not one of them fell to the ground without my notice. I caught them all. Listen to me closely. Your silence in this season was not a lack of faith, it was exhaustion. I know you are tired. I know your soul is weary. You have been fighting so hard to keep everything together, to be the strong one for everyone else, to keep the peace when war was raging inside your own mind. You thought that because you had no words left to pray, you were failing me. But you were not failing. You were just surviving. I do not judge you for your pain. Your pain is valid in my eyes. I do not look at your struggle and see weakness. I see a warrior who has been in the heat of the battle. You felt alone, but you were never alone. Not for a single second. When you felt like you were drowning, my hand was the only thing keeping your head above the water. When you felt like you couldn't take another step, I was the strength in your legs. You couldn't feel me because the storm was so loud, but I was holding you the entire time. I was holding you when you cried in the car on your way home. I was holding you when you received that bad news. I was holding you when you felt like giving up. Look at your hands. Now, imagine my hands. You are not forgotten. You are not a mistake. You are not an afterthought. Your name is carved into the very palms of my hands. I look at you, and I see my precious one, my treasure. I need you to understand this deep in your gut today. The isolation you felt was a lie from the enemy. You are known. You are seen. You are deeply, wildly loved. The silence is over. My voice is breaking through the static. Feel my love wrapping around you like a warm blanket right now. You are safe with me. I want you to sit with me for a moment and look back at the heat you have endured. I know you have asked the question, sometimes screaming it into your pillow in the middle of the night. Why? Why did I allow the temperature to rise so high in your life? Why did I let you walk through the fire when I could have easily snapped my fingers and extinguished the flames? I know it felt like punishment. I know the enemy whispered in your ear that you were suffering because you had done something wrong, or because you were not good enough, or because I was angry with you. But you must silence that lie immediately. The fire was not a rejection, it was a refinery. You are not made of wood or hay or stubble, my child. You are made of gold. And gold cannot be purified in lukewarm water. Gold must go into the fire. I allowed the heat to rise not to burn you, but to burn off of you the things that could not go with you into your destiny. I was separating the gold of your spirit from the dross of the world, the people-pleasing, the reliance on your own strength, the fear of man, and the attachments to things that were actually weighing you down. I had to strip away the false security so that you would learn to stand on the rock that never moves. Think of it this way. You are like a high-performance engine that I have been building for a race you haven't seen yet. If I had put you on the track with your old tires and your old engine, you would have crashed at the first curve. The pressure you felt, that was me strengthening your spiritual muscles. That was resistance training. You cannot handle the heavy weight of glory I am about to pour out if you haven't built the strength to carry it. The crushing you felt was actually the pressing of the olive to get the oil. You are now prepared for a level of authority and influence that the old you would have collapsed under. I want you to look at your scars differently today. Do not look at them with shame. Look at them as medals of honor. You survived. You didn't burn out. The fire that was meant to destroy you only made you brighter. You are coming out of this furnace not smelling of smoke, but shining with my glory. I know it hurt. I know there were days you thought the heat would consume you completely. But look at you now. You are still standing. You are stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you have ever been. The test was never meant to break you. It was meant to make you unbreakable. Punishment looks back at your past mistakes. Preparation looks forward to your future victories. This was preparation. Listen to the sound of my voice and let it shake the foundations of your doubt. I'm making a formal, divine decree over your life right now. The season of the wilderness is officially closed. I am drawing a line in the sand of your timeline. Everything behind this line belongs to history. Everything in front of it belongs to destiny. The struggle that has defined your last few years expires today. I am looking at the calendar of heaven, and I am marking this date as the turning point. You have circled this mountain long enough. I am commanding the enemy to release his grip on your life immediately. Every spirit of delay, every spirit of lack, every assignment that was sent to wear you down and steal your hope, I command them to flee in the name that is above every name. Do you feel the shift? It is happening in the atmosphere right now. It is like the air pressure changing before a thunderstorm. But this is a storm of blessings. I am closing the door to that season of almost and not yet. You know that feeling of being stuck in a waiting room while everyone else gets called in. That ends today. I need you to participate in this shift. I want you to open your mouth and declare it with me. Say, "It is finished." The spiritual attacks that plagued your mind, the bad luck that seemed to follow you, the cycles of failure that ran in your family, they stop here. They stop with you. I am shattering the glass ceiling that has kept you capped. I am breaking the invisible barriers that held you back. The resistance you have felt was fierce because the enemy knew how close you were to this breakthrough. He fought you the hardest right before the dawn. But the sun is rising. This is not just a comforting thought. This is a legal transaction in the courts of heaven. I have signed the release papers. You are free. You are free to prosper. You are free to heal. You are free to succeed. I want you to walk differently starting this moment. Walk as someone who has just been released from prison. The chains are on the floor. Don't pick them back up. Don't talk like a victim anymore. You are a victor. The long night is over, my child. Wake up to your new reality. I see the weight you carry on your chest. I see the fog that has clouded your mind, making it hard to focus, hard to pray, and sometimes even hard to breathe. You have been wearing a garment of heaviness, a spiritual blanket of depression, anxiety, and deep, unspoken sadness. You smile for the world. You say, "I'm fine," when people ask. But inside, you feel like you are slowly withering away. I am here to take that heavy coat off of your shoulders. I am exchanging your garment of heaviness for a garment of praise. I am lifting that supernatural fog right now. I command the chemical imbalances, the racing thoughts, and the constant loop of negativity to cease. I speak to the spirit of anxiety that wakes you up in panic. I command it to leave your bedroom. I speak to the depression that tells you it's not worth getting out of bed. I silence its voice with my truth. I am breathing new life into your weary bones. I am restoring the joy of your salvation. You will laugh again. Not a fake laugh to hide the pain, but a deep, belly-shaking laugh that comes from a soul set free. I know you have felt like you were losing your mind, like you were slipping into a dark hole that you couldn't climb out of. But I am the God who pulls you out of the pit. I am reaching down right now, grabbing your hand, and pulling you up onto solid ground. I am restoring your sleep. Tonight, you will not toss and turn. You will not stare at the clock. You will rest in the sweet peace that surpasses all understanding. I am calming the storm in your nervous system. You are not your trauma. You are not your past. You are not your diagnosis. You are who I say you are, and I say you are whole. I say you are sound. I say you have the mind of Christ. I want you to take a deep breath, a real one. Feel the air filling your lungs. That is my breath in you. The oppression is breaking. The darkness is fleeing because it cannot stay where my light is shining. Lift up your head, my beloved. The weight is gone. I have heard the whispers. I have seen the text messages. the emails, and the conversations that happen behind closed doors. I know about the people who misunderstood you on purpose, the ones who twisted your words, and the ones who attacked your character when you were just trying to do the right thing. It hurts to be accused falsely. It hurts when you have a heart to serve, and people treat you with suspicion. You have wanted to defend yourself. You have wanted to set the record straight, to fight back, to prove them wrong. But listen to me. Be still. I am your defender. I am preparing a table before you in the presence of your enemies. Do you understand what that means? I am not going to just bless you in secret. I am going to bless you publicly. Those who mocked your faith, those who said you would never amount to anything, those who laughed when you stumbled, they will soon have a front row seat to your promotion. They will watch as I elevate you. They will watch as I favor you. And they will know that it is the hand of God upon your life. You do not need to send that angry text. You do not need to gossip about them to get even. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord, and I repay. But my repayment often looks like blessing you so much that their curses simply bounce off. I am reversing the false words spoken against you. Every lie that was launched like an arrow at your heart is falling harmlessly to the ground. I am returning the shame to the sender. A pit they dug for you. They will fall into it themselves. I am restoring your reputation. I am clearing your name in rooms you haven't even entered yet. People who don't even know you will feel a supernatural favor toward you because I am going ahead of you. I am turning the hearts of kings and leaders to favor you. Do not be bitter. Do not let their poison get inside of you. Forgive them, let them go, and watch what I do. I am about to make you a showcase of my grace. Your vindication will not come from your arguments. It will come from your elevation. Do not turn away now, my child. We have only just begun to uncover the victory I have prepared for you. To leave this conversation now would be to walk out of the throne room just as I am about to hand you the keys to your breakthrough. My heart aches at the thought of you settling for a partial healing when I have a complete restoration waiting in the very next breath. Stay with me. Do not let the enemy distract you from the abundance I am about to speak over your life. Listen, for your financial release depends on what I say next. We need to talk about the knot in your stomach every time you look at the bills. I see the calculator in your mind, constantly trying to make the numbers add up, but they keep coming up short. I know the stress of living paycheck to paycheck, the fear of the unexpected expense, the car breaking down, the rent going up. You have faithfully tithed, you have given when you had little, and you have wondered when the harvest would come. My child, the test of scarcity is over. The era of abundance begins now. I am rebuking the devourer for your sake. That hole in your pocket where money seems to disappear, I am sewing it shut. I am commanding the financial floodgates to open over your household. This is not just about money. This is about resources, opportunities, and favor. Unexpected checks are on the way. Debts that felt like mountains are going to become molehills. I am giving you wisdom to manage what I am about to pour out. You have been the borrower for too long. Now you shall be the lender. I am blessing the work of your hands to prosper supernaturally. At business ID you buried, dig it out. At promotion you were afraid to apply for, go for it. I am unlocking streams of income that you didn't even know existed. I am bringing you into a place of overflow, not just enough for you, but enough to bless others. You will no longer have to say no to things because of lack. I want you to stop speaking poverty over your life. Stop saying I can't afford it with a spirit of defeat. Start saying my God supplies all my needs. I am shifting your mindset from survival to stewardship. You are a child of the King, and it is not fitting for you to live in lack. The resources of heaven are unlimited, and I am releasing a portion of them to you today. Trust me. I am Jehovah Jireh, your provider, and I am on the job. The drought is over. The rain is here. I want you to place your hand on the part of your body that has been causing you pain. If it is your whole body that feels weary, place your hand over your heart. I am speaking now to the physical vessel that houses your spirit. I know the struggle you have faced with your health. I know the days when you wake up more tired than when you went to sleep. I see the chronic aches that you have learned to live with, the stiffness in your joints, the headaches that cloud your thinking, and the silent worry you carry about that diagnosis. You have tried the medications. You have changed your diet. You have done everything the doctors said, but still, you feel like your body is fighting against you. Hear me now. My hand is touching the infirmities in your body this very moment. I am walking through the corridors of your biology, visiting every cell, every nerve ending, and every organ. I am the great physician, and I am writing the report. The chronic pain that has tested your patience and drained your joy is receiving an eviction notice. It cannot stay in the temple where my Holy Spirit resides. You are my temple, and I am cleansing my house. I am sweeping out the debris of sickness, the residue of stress, and the toxic buildup of years of survival mode. I command the inflammation to subside. I command your blood pressure to regulate. I speak to your immune system, and I command it to function with divine precision, distinguishing between friend and foe. A fatigue that coffee cannot fix. That is a spiritual drain manifesting physically, and I am plugging the leak. I am pouring a fresh, supernatural vitality into you. Feel the warmth spreading through your limbs right now. That is my power flowing like a river of life through your veins. You will not just survive, you will thrive. You will have the energy to run and not grow weary, to walk and not faint. The doctors will be amazed by the turnaround. They will look at the charts and scratch their heads because they do not factor in the miracle-working power of your God. Where there was decay, I am speaking regeneration. Where there was weakness, I am speaking strength. You have a destiny to fulfill, and you need a strong body to carry it out. I am strengthening your back to carry the weight of glory. I am sharpening your mind to hold the wisdom I am pouring out. I am steadying your hands to war for your family. Do not accept sickness as your normal. Do not claim it as my arthritis or my migraines. They are not yours. They are intruders, and I am driving them out. Walk in the wholeness that was paid for at Calvary. The stripes I bore were not a metaphor. They were the currency for your healing. Cash that check today. Stand up, stretch your limbs, take a deep breath, and believe that the restoration has begun. Your youth is being renewed like the eagles. You are coming back to life. I see the empty chairs at your table. I see the names in your phone contacts that you haven't called in years. I know the deep ache of loneliness that has accompanied this season of testing. You have walked a solitary path, misunderstood by those who should have supported you, and betrayed by some you trusted with your heart. The isolation was necessary for a time. I had to pull you away to protect you and to speak to you without distraction. But I want you to know that the season of isolation is ending. I did not create you to be alone. I created you for community, for family, and for love. I am bringing back those who belong in your destiny. There are people I removed because they were anchors holding you back, but there are others who were separated from you by the enemy's schemes. I am healing the wounds inflicted by family and friends. I am softening hardened hearts. I am removing the pride that has stood in the way of reconciliation. Prepare your heart, for you are going to receive phone calls and messages from people you thought were gone forever. The bridges that were burned are being rebuilt, not with the wood of the past, but with the steel of my grace. However, listen closely. I am also permanently removing the toxic influences that hindered your growth. Do not grieve for those who walked away because they could not handle your light. Their departure was your protection. I am granting you the grace to forgive them today. Release the bitterness. It is drinking poison and expecting them to die. Let it go. As you release them, you free yourself. You are making room for the new tribe I am sending you. People who will celebrate you, not just tolerate you. People who will push you toward me, not pull you away. I am commanding unity to return to your household. The bickering, the misunderstandings, the cold wars, they stop now. I am releasing a spirit of peace over your relationships. Husbands and wives will find each other again. Parents and children will bridge the generational gaps. You will have the conversations you have been afraid to have, but this time they will lead to healing, not hurting. I am giving you the right words to say. I am giving you the wisdom to know when to speak and when to listen. You are entering a season of divine connection. I am aligning you with destiny helpers, people who hold a key to your next door. Watch for them. They might not look like who you expect, but their spirit will resonate with yours. You will know them by the peace they bring. The lonely nights are over. You are going to be surrounded by love so thick and so real that you will forget the pain of the rejection. You are loved by me and you will be loved by my people. Open your heart again. It is safe now. I am taking you into the courtroom of heaven right now. We are looking at the ledger of your life. I see the years the locusts have eaten. I see the opportunities that slipped through your fingers, not because you were lazy, but because the enemy stole them. I see the money you lost, the time you wasted in the wrong direction, and the emotional energy you poured into things that gave no return. You have felt like you were running on a treadmill, working hard but getting nowhere. You have watched the wicked prosper while you struggled to keep your head above water. But I am a God of justice, and I am tipping the scales in your favor. The thief has been caught. And by my spiritual law, when the thief is caught, he must repay sevenfold. I am commanding a sevenfold return on everything that was taken from you during the test. This is not just addition. This is multiplication. I am restoring the years. How can I restore time? I will accelerate your blessings so that you accomplish in 1 year what would normally take 10. I am giving you catch-up speed. You are going to overtake those who started before you. I am speaking to your finances, your career, and your ministry. The harvest you sowed in tears, you will now reap in joy with shouting. You prayed when it was hard. You gave when you were broke. You served when you were tired. Do not think for 1 second that I missed that. I kept the receipt. And now, the interest has compounded. You are about to receive blessings you did not even labor for, houses you didn't build, vineyards you didn't plant. This is the transfer of wealth from the wicked to the righteous. Your harvest will not be delayed any longer. The ground is breaking open. I am rebuking the frost that killed your buds in the past. This time, the fruit will remain. This time, the deal will close. This time, the promotion will have your name on it. I want you to prepare your storehouses. Expand your capacity to receive. Stop thinking small. Stop thinking just enough. I am the God of more than enough. You thought you lost that opportunity forever. Watch me spin the block. Watch me bring it back around, better than it was before. I am the God of the second chance, and the third, and the fourth. The enemy thought he could bankrupt your future, but he didn't know you were backed by the unlimited resources of the kingdom. The check is in your hand. The restitution order is signed. Claim it. Say, I take back everything the devil stole from me. It is yours. You have been walking in a fog, my child. I know the feeling of confusion that has plagued you, the paralysis of analysis. You have stood at the crossroads, terrified of making the wrong mistake, terrified of missing my will. You have asked, Lord, which way? Do I stay or do I go? Do I hold on or let go? The noise of the world has been so loud that it drowned out the compass of your heart. But today, I am removing the scales from your eyes. I am blowing away the smoke of confusion. Clarity is your portion. I am giving you 20/20 spiritual vision. You will no longer guess. You will know. I am downloading specific instructions into your spirit. This is not a vague feeling. This is precise direction. I will show you exactly where to go, who to partner with, and what to build. I am activating the Holy Spirit within you to act as your divine GPS. When you veer to the left, you will hear a voice saying, "This is the way, walk in it." I am revealing the hidden traps of the enemy so you can avoid them. That shiny opportunity that looks good on the surface but is a trap underneath. I will expose it. That person who smiles to your face but holds a dagger behind their back. I will show you their true nature. You will have a spirit of discernment that cuts through the lies. You will see the end from the beginning. I am giving you a fresh revelation of your life's purpose. You are not here just to pay bills and die. You are here for a kingdom assignment. I am reigniting the dream I placed in you when you were a child. The passion you thought died is coming back to life. You will wake up with a sense of mission. You will know why you are on this planet. The days of aimless wandering are over. You are stepping onto a marked path, illuminated by my word. Do not be afraid of the future. Do not be afraid of making a mistake. Even if you stumble, I will catch you. But you will not stumble this time, because I am holding your hand and I am lighting the path. Look forward. Do you see it? The destination is beautiful. The fog is lifting. The sun is shining on the road ahead. Walk boldly. Just as I have removed the scales from your eyes to see your path clearly, I am calling you to be a light bearer for those still stumbling in the fog of confusion. There are millions wandering in the wilderness who desperately need the same compass of truth that you have received today. I invite you now to partner with this mission of clarity. Your support is the oil that keeps this lamp burning bright for the lost. Whether through a super thanks, becoming a member, or sowing a seed through the PayPal link below, you are fueling the lighthouse that saves ships from the rocks. As you pour out for the sake of my kingdom, I declare that I will pour into your bosom a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Do not just receive the vision, invest in the vision so that others may see. Sow your seed of clarity today and watch how I sharpen the focus of your own future. Pause. Do not scroll past. Do not let the noise of the world steal your attention from your Creator. I am pouring my spirit into you, but the vessel is not yet full. It grieves my spirit when my children walk away before the equipping is complete, leaving them vulnerable to the battles ahead. I am about to arm you with spiritual authority that will terrify your enemies. If you stop now, you leave the battlefield unarmed. For the sake of your family and your future, press in. I am about to break a generational curse that has plagued your bloodline for decades. You must hear this. Stand up. I want you to feel the ground beneath your feet. You are not a victim. You are not a helpless pawn in the enemy's game. You are a child of the Most High God, and you are graduating from this test with a new mantle of power. The hell you went through was not just to hurt you, it was to train you. You have seen the darkness, and you have survived it. Now you carry a light that terrifies the demons that used to scare you. I am reminding you today of your rank in the Spirit. You have the authority to trample on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. You believe that? You need to stop asking me to do things that I have given you the power to do. You speak to the mountain. You rebuke the storm. You command the devil to flee. When you speak my word, angels stand at attention to perform it. The power of life and death is in your tongue. Use it wisely. Stop agreeing with the enemy. Stop saying, I'm so sick. I'm so broke. I'm so tired. Prophecy to your dry bones. Command them to live. Your prayers now carry the weight of a veteran warrior. You are not a raw recruit anymore. You have battle scars, and those scars are proof that you are dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Demons that tormented your family line, they stop with you. You are the wall. You are the enforcer. I have given you the keys to the kingdom. Whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth is loosed in heaven. Use your keys. Lock the door to sickness. Unlock the door to blessing. Walk with your head high. You are royalty. When you walk into a room, the atmosphere should shift because the Spirit of the living God is inside you. Do not cower. Do not apologize for your space. Occupy until I come. You are victorious, not because of who you are, but because of who lives in you. Or like the lion you were created to be. The enemy is defeated. You have the victory. Now to enforce it. I want you to look back at your family line for a moment. I want you to see the patterns that have repeated themselves like a broken record. The cycles of addiction, the history of divorce, the persistent poverty that seems to follow every generation, the anger that explodes without warning, the sickness that doctors say is hereditary. You have seen these things and you have trembled, fearing that they were your destiny too. You have wondered if you were doomed to repeat the mistakes of your fathers and mothers. But I am here to tell you that the buck stops with you. The test you have just passed was not just for you. It was for your children and your children's children. You are the cycle breaker I have chosen for this generation. I am rewriting your family's spiritual DNA with the blood of Jesus right now. I am taking the eraser of my grace and I am wiping out the iniquities of the forefathers. The dysfunction that has plagued your lineage for decades is colliding with the power of the cross, and it cannot survive the impact. I am severing the invisible cords that have tethered you to the sins of the past. You are not bound by your biology. You are bound by my theology. And my word says you are a new creation. The old has gone. The new has come. I declare that your children will not fight the same battles you fought. They will not have to cry the tears you cried. You have cleared the land. You have fought the giants so they won't have to. Because you stood firm, they will walk on paved roads. I am establishing a new legacy of righteousness, favor, and mental stability in your bloodline. Where there was chaos, there will now be peace. Where there was lack, there will now be inheritance. I want you to speak this over your home. It ends with me. Command the spirits of infirmity and dysfunction to leave your house. You have the authority to evict them. You are establishing a new standard. Years from now, your descendants will look back at your life and say, that was the turning point. That was when everything changed for our family. Do not accept the lie that this is just how we are. No, that is how you were. I am redefining who you are. I am pouring fresh oil on your head, and that oil is flowing down to the skirts of your garments, covering everyone connected to you. Stand tall, my child. You have broken the chain. The heavy yoke is destroyed. I am proud of you for doing the hard work of healing. It was painful, I know. Unpacking the trauma of generations is heavy lifting. But you did it. And because you did it, 1,000 generations will be blessed. Walk in this new freedom. You are the first of a new kind in your line. The curse is broken. The blessing is established. I am imparting to you today a gift that is more valuable than gold, the gift of discernment. In the season you are entering, you cannot afford to be blind. You cannot afford to take everything at face value. The enemy knows he cannot destroy you with a direct attack anymore, so he will try to deceive you. He will come as an angel of light. He will send people who look like friends but have the hearts of wolves. But I am giving you spiritual X-ray vision. You will see through the masks. You will hear what is not being said. You will feel the check in your spirit before you even make a move. I am teaching you to distinguish between good ideas and God ideas. Not every open door is from me. Some are trapdoors. Not every opportunity is a blessing. Some are distractions sent to derail your focus. I am giving you the wisdom to know the difference. When you meet someone, you will know instantly if they are for you or against you. You won't have to guess. You won't have to wait for them to betray you to find out. The Holy Spirit inside you will vibrate with truth or with warning. I want you to trust that gut feeling. That is not indigestion. That is my spirit speaking to your spirit. If something feels off, he is off. Do not override my warnings with your logic. Do not try to rationalize away the red flags I am showing you. I am showing them to you to protect you. I am protecting your peace, your assets, and your heart. You have been too trusting in the past, casting your pearls before swine who turned and trampled you. No more. You will be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. This gift of discernment also applies to the spiritual atmosphere. You will be able to detect the enemy's strategies before they even manifest. You will smell the smoke before the fire starts. This means you can pray proactively, shutting down the enemy's plans before they can gain any traction. You are becoming a spiritual sniper, taking out the threats from a distance. I am also giving you discernment to manage the new blessings coming your way. You will know how to invest, how to save, and how to sow. You will see the hidden value in things others overlook. You will have insight that gives you an advantage in your career and your ministry. Receive this gift. Ask for it daily. Say, Lord, show me what I need to see. I will open your eyes to the hidden things. You will walk in the light, and the darkness will not be able to trick you again. I feel the trembling in your heart when you think about tomorrow. I hear the what-ifs that loop in your mind like a scary movie. What if the money runs out? What if the sickness comes back? What if I end up alone? What if I fail? These questions are the whispers of fear, and fear is a liar. I want you to replace every what if with even if. Even if the worst happens, I am still God. Even if the storm comes, I am the anchor. But listen to me. The things you are terrified of are shadows, not monsters. I want you to know that your future is safer than your past. Why? Because I have already been to your tomorrow. I am already there, waiting for you. I have prepared the way. I have smoothed out the rough places. I have placed supplies along the route. There is no version of your future where I am absent. There is no version of your future where I stop loving you. You are stressing about problems that I have already solved. You are trying to carry the burden of next year on the strength of today. Stop it. Fear paralyzes you. It keeps you locked in a prison of the familiar because you are afraid of the unknown. But I am calling you to walk boldly into the unknown, because I am holding your right hand. You don't need to see the whole map. You just need to see me. I am your light. I am your guide. The path of the righteous gets brighter and brighter. Your best days are not behind you in your memories. They are in front of you in your destiny. I command the spirit of fear to lose its hold on your mind. You will not live in dread of bad news. You will not flinch every time the phone rings. You will live with a holy anticipation of goodness. I want you to wake up every morning and say, "Something good is going to happen to me today." This is not positive thinking, this is faith. It is trusting that my plans for you are good, to give you a future and a hope. Look at how I have sustained you this far. Look at the mountains I have already moved. Do you think I brought you this far to leave you? Do you think I save you just to let you drown now? Absolutely not. I am invested in you. I have too much in store for you to let you fail. Silence the voice of doom. Turn up the volume of my promises. Walk forward with your chest out and your head high. The future is bright because I am the sun that lights it. You have defined yourself by what you have done in the past, but I am defining you by what I have placed inside you that you haven't even seen yet. During this season of testing, while you were just trying to survive, I was planting seeds of greatness in your soil. Now, the rain of my spirit is causing them to germinate. I am unlocking dormant potential within you. There are talents, skills, and creative abilities lying asleep in your spirit that are about to wake up. New creative ideas are going to flow from heaven to your mind. You will wake up with solutions to problems that have baffled experts. You will have ideas for businesses, for books, for sound, for ministries, for inventions. Do not dismiss these thoughts as just my imagination. That is me inspiring you. I am the creator, and I created you to create. You are going to discover you can do things you never studied for. You will have a supernatural aptitude for things that used to intimidate you. I am releasing an anointing for the marketplace. You are going to excel in your job in a way that demands attention. Like Joseph in Egypt, you will have the wisdom to manage resources and lead in times of crisis. Like Daniel in Babylon, you will have an excellent spirit that sets you 10 times above your peers. I am expanding your territory. Your influence will not be limited to the 4 walls of the church. You will impact your city, your industry, and your community. Use these gifts to glorify me. Do not hoard them. Do not hide them under a basket because of false humility. Shine. When you succeed, I am glorified. When you create beauty, you reflect my nature. I am giving you the boldness to step out and try new things. Take that class. Start that project. Write that proposal. I am blowing wind into your sails. You are more than your job title. You are more than your role as a parent or a spouse. You are a multifaceted vessel of my glory. I am turning the diamond of your life so that new facets catch the light. People will look at you and say, "I didn't know you could do that." And you will smile and say, "I didn't either, until God unlocked it." Get ready to surprise yourself. Get ready to be amazed at what I can do through you. The limits are off. My beloved, why are you rushing? Is there anything in the world more important than this appointment with your God? I am speaking life into your dead places, and to disconnect now would be to unplug from your life support. It breaks my heart when I see you choose distraction over destiny. I have commanded my angels to gather around you, and I am about to release a word of rest and angelic assistance that you desperately need. Do not dishonor this moment of intimacy. Today, the breakthrough you have been crying for is wrapped in the words I am about to speak. I am giving you a command now that might be the hardest one for you to obey. Rest. The battle is over, my soldier. Put down your sword. Take off the heavy armor. You have been fighting for so long that you have forgotten how to just be. You have been in survival mode, adrenaline pumping, always looking for the next attack. But the war is won. It is time to enter into my peace. Entering my rest is an act of faith. When you rest, you are declaring that you trust me to handle things. When you work non-stop, when you strive and worry and toil, you are saying that it all depends on you. But it doesn't depend on you, it depends on me. I want you to stop striving and start receiving. I want you to sleep. I want you to take a nap without feeling guilty. I want you to sit in the sun and watch the birds. Trust that I am working while you are sleeping. I can do more in your life in 5 minutes of your rest than you can do in 10 years of your striving. While Adam slept, I gave him a bride. While you sleep, I will build your house. I will fight your battles. I will solve your problems. Your anxiety cannot fix anything, but my peace can fix everything. I am refreshing your soul after the long drought. I am leading you beside still waters. Drink deeply. Let your nervous system decompress. Let your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw. Breathe. You are safe. The world will not fall apart if you take a break. I am holding the world together, not you. Be still and know that I am God. In the stillness, you will hear my whisper. In the silence, you will find your strength. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Let me refill you. Let me love on you. This is not laziness. This is stewardship of the temple I gave you. I command you to enjoy your life. I command you to find joy in the simple things again. The storm has passed. The sun is out. Rest in my love. I want you to close your physical eyes for a moment and open the eyes of your spirit. If you could see the invisible realm right now, you would be astounded. You often feel alone, vulnerable, and exposed to the elements of this harsh world, but that is merely an illusion of the physical senses. The reality is that the moment you cried out to me, I issued a command from the throne room that mobilized the armies of heaven. I have assigned new legions of angels to your cause, and they are arriving at your location right now. You have wondered how you survived that near miss on the highway. You have wondered why that situation that should have destroyed you suddenly turned in your favor. You have wondered about that gut feeling that told you to turn left instead of right, saving you from disaster. That was not luck. That was not coincidence. That was the ministry of my angels. I have given them charge over you to keep you in all your ways. They are the invisible bodyguards that never sleep and never slumber. I am dispatching specific angels for specific tasks in your life today. There are warring angels being sent to clear the obstacles in your path that have stubbornly refused to move. The demonic resistance that has stood like a wall before your progress is being dismantled brick by these warrior spirits. They are fighting battles in the heavenly realms that you don't even know exist. While you are sleeping, they are warring. While you are working, they are shielding. I am also sending ministering spirits to you, angels of comfort and strength. I know there are days when you feel too weak to lift your head. In those moments, I send my messengers to strengthen you, just as an angel strengthened my son in the Garden of Gethsemane. Feel the atmosphere in your room change right now. That shift in temperature, that sudden sense of peace, that lifting of the heaviness, that is the arrival of help. You are not fighting alone. You are backed by the most powerful army in existence. I want you to walk with a new confidence. Stop looking over your shoulder in fear. I have your back. I have your front. I have your sides. I have surrounded you with a hedge of fire that the enemy cannot cross. When you walk into a meeting, you are not walking in alone. You are walking in with a heavenly entourage. When you face a confrontation, you are outnumbered in the natural, but you are the majority in the spirit. Elisha's servant was afraid until his eyes were opened to see the chariots of fire surrounding them. I pray that your eyes are open today. Fear not, For those who are with you are more than those who are against you. I know you have felt the sting of shame regarding your past. I know you have looked at the mess, the failures, the public stumbling, and the private sins, and you have thought, God can never use someone like me. I am too damaged. I am too broken. You have wanted to hide your scars, to sweep your history under the rug and pretend it never happened. But I am here to tell you that I do not waste pain. Your story of survival is not something to hide. It is the very weapon I will use to save others. I am the master artist of redemption. In Japan, there is an art form called kintsugi, where broken pottery is put back together with gold lacquer. The result is that the object is more beautiful and more valuable because it was broken. You are my kintsugi masterpiece. The cracks in your life are where my glory shines through the brightest. Your test has become your testimony. Your mess has become your message. Your misery has become your ministry. There are people out there right now who are drowning in the exact same waters you just swam through. They are looking for a lifeline. They don't need a perfect saint who has never struggled. They need a survivor who can look them in the eye and say, I know it hurts, but God brought me through, and He will bring you through too. Your experience is now a weapon against the darkness. When you speak with the authority of someone who has been to hell and back and still has a praise in their mouth. Do not be silent. Do not let the enemy shame you into silence. The devil wants you to keep your mouth shut because he knows that the word of your testimony overcomes him. When you share what I have done for you, you release the power of prophecy into the lives of others. You tell them that if I did it for you, I can do it for them. You are a lighthouse for battered ships. I am going to put you in front of people specifically so you can tell your story. It might be one person in a coffee shop, or it might be thousands on a stage, but the impact is the same. You will see tears in their eyes as you speak, because your words will unlock their chains. You thought your suffering was meaningless, but I was crafting a key. You now hold the key to unlock the prisons of others. Wear your scars like medals. They prove you are a veteran of the Lord's army. You are still standing. And because you are standing, others will stand too. I want to talk to you about the storm that rages inside your chest. I know that even though the external battle might be quieting down, the internal battle is still fierce. You are suffering from the spiritual equivalent of PTSD. You are flinching and shadows. You are waiting for the other shoe to drop. You have lived in fight or flight mode for so long that your body doesn't know how to decompress. You interpret peace as boredom, or worse, as the calm before another disaster. But today I am speaking peace to your nervous system. I am calming the storms of your emotions. I am rewiring your mind. I see the anxiety that hits you out of nowhere, the racing heart, the shallow breathing, the intrusive thoughts that tell you you're going crazy. You are not going crazy, you are healing. And healing can sometimes feel messy. But I am the God of shalom, perfect, complete wholeness, and I am pouring that shalom into the cracks of your mind right now. I am healing your ability to trust again. I know you were betrayed. I know people you loved stabbed you in the back. I know you built walls around your heart so thick that no one could get in, not even me sometimes. But those walls are coming down today, not by force but by love. I am removing the stony heart and giving you a heart of flesh, a heart that can feel, love, and hope again without the paralyzing fear of pain. I am giving you a sound mind. I rebuke the spirit of confusion and brain fog. I command clarity to return to your thoughts. You will be able to focus again. You will be able to make decisions without agonizing over them for days. I am wiping away the bitterness of the past that has tasted like bile in your mouth. I am replacing it with the sweetness of my presence. Listen to me. You will laugh again. I don't mean a polite chuckle. I mean deep, genuine, unrestrained joy. I am restoring your emotional resilience. You will not be a glass vase that chatters at the slightest bump. You will be a rubber ball that bounces back higher every time it hits the ground. The tears you cried at night have watered the seeds of joy. Your morning has come. The weeping is over. Receive my emotional stability. Stand firm in your mind. You are safe. I am directing your attention to Revelation 3:8, for it is manifesting in your life at this very hour. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. You have spent years banging on doors that were locked tight. You have tried to force your way into opportunities, tried to network your way into rooms, and tried to plead your case to gatekeepers who refused to listen. You are tired of the rejection. You are tired of the word no. But hear me. The season of no is over. The season of the open door is here. These doors are not going to open the way you expect. You are looking for the front door, but I am opening the side door, the back door, and even the roof. Opportunities are going to come from sources you never imagined. It won't be the people you tried to impress who help you. It will be a stranger, an unlikely connection, someone you met in passing. Promotion is coming neither from the east nor the west, nor from the south. It is coming from me. I am giving you access to rooms where decisions are made. I am walking you past the receptionists and the middle management blockers, straight to the decision makers. I am giving you the master key to the palace. When I open a door for you, no man, no hater, no boss, no enemy, no system can shut it. They might try. They might plot. But their efforts will be laughable because my favor acts as a doorstop that keeps it open. You are about to walk into a place of influence that you are not technically qualified for on paper, but you are qualified by my anointing. I choose the foolish things to confound the wise. I am preparing you for a Red Sea moment, where the obstacle looks impossible, but suddenly, a way is made where there was no way. Walk through these doors with humility, but also with confidence. Do not suffer from imposter syndrome. You belong in that room because I placed you there. I am setting a table for you. I am elevating you. And this open door is not just for you. It is so you can hold the door open for others. Get ready to move. The hinges are turning. The lock is clicking. Step through. I have set before you an open door that no man can shut. And now I ask you to hold that door open for the multitude standing behind you. Your offering today is not merely currency. It is a spiritual key that unlocks this message for a broken world desperate for an entrance into my peace. As I expand your territory, I call you to expand the reach of my word through your generosity. Support this work through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and you become a divine gatekeeper of my glory. Test me in this, and see if I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive. Do not hesitate at the threshold. As you give to build my house, I am securing the foundation of yours. Step through this door of generosity right now and claim your access. Do not dare close this door I have opened for you. We are nearing the Holy of Holies of this conversation, and I have saved the most critical revelation for last. To stop now would be to run the entire race and stop inches from the finish line, a tragedy that would cause weeping in the heavens. I am about to seal a covenant with you that cannot be broken. I am about to accelerate time in your favor. Do not disappoint me by turning back when the promised land is in sight. Honor my presence with your patience. Your final benediction is coming, and it will change everything. My child, I have missed you. I know you have been here, praying and reading, but I have missed us. I have missed the way we used to talk before the battle got so loud. I know the struggle created a distance. You were so busy fighting for survival, so busy crying out for help, that we stopped just being together. You felt like your prayers were hitting a brass ceiling. You felt like I was a million miles away. But the distance you felt was a lie. I have never been closer than I am right now. I am calling you back to the secret place. I am calling you back to your first love. I am renewing the intimacy between us today. The dryness is leaving your spirit. The chore of prayer is turning back into the delight of communion. You are going to rediscover the joy of my presence. You will open my word, and the verses will jump off the page and dance in your heart again. You will hear my whisper clearly, not as a distant echo, but as a close, intimate voice in your ear. I want you to stop striving to reach me and just realize I am already with you. Stop performing. I don't need your eloquence. I need your heart. Come to me with your hair down, your defenses down, and your mask off. Let's just sit together. Let me love you. Let me sing over you. There are depths of my heart that I want to show you, secrets of the kingdom that I want to trust you with, but they can only be shared in the quiet intimacy of friendship. You are not just a servant, you are my friend. I want to involve you in my plans. I want to share my burden for the world with you. I want to weep with you and laugh with you. Falling in love with my word anew is part of this renewal. It will be sweet to your taste, like honey. Welcome back to the living room of my grace. The fire is warm here. The atmosphere is thick with love. No more formal petitions from a distance. Come sit at my feet. Let me wash the dust of the journey off of you. This is where you recharge. This is where you find your identity. You are my beloved, and I am yours. Nothing can break this bond. We need to have a serious, heart-to-heart conversation about what happens next. I have told you that the floodgates are opening. I have told you that vindication is coming and that you are stepping into a season of unprecedented favor. But with great elevation comes a great danger, one that is subtle, silent, and deadly. The danger is pride. I am warning you now, while you are still humble in the valley, so that you do not lose your footing when you reach the mountaintop. When the blessings start pouring in, when the applause of men gets loud, and when your bank account finally reflects your worth, the temptation will be to think, I did this. My hard work paid off. My intelligence got me here. Listen to me carefully. It is my grace that sustained you, not your grit. It was my hand that opened the doors, not your cleverness. Do not touch the glory. The glory belongs to me alone. If you try to carry the weight of glory, it will crush you, but if you reflect it back to me, it will illuminate you. I want you to remain grounded. The higher a skyscraper reaches into the clouds, the deeper its foundation must be dug into the earth. You are about to go high, so you must dig deep into humility. I want you to remember the nights you cried yourself to sleep. Remember the feeling of helplessness when you had no resources. Keep that memory not as a source of pain, but as a monument to my faithfulness. Whenever you feel the chest-swelling sensation of arrogance, look back at the pit I pulled you out of and say, but for the grace of God, there go I. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less and thinking of me more. It is acknowledging that you are the vessel, but I am the treasure inside the vessel. I am also giving you a specific safeguard against pride, generosity. The antidote to selfishness is service. As I bless you, I want you to aggressively bless others. Find the poor, the broken, the widow, and the orphan. When you use your hands to wash the feet of others, you cannot use them to pat yourself on the back. When you look into the eyes of someone who is suffering, it keeps your heart tender. Do not let the comfort of your new season make you numb to the pain of the world. I am trusting you with influence. Do not become like the leaders of this world who lord it over people. You are called to servant leadership. If you want to be great in my kingdom, you must be the servant of all. Stay teachable. The moment you think you know it all is the moment you stop growing. Surround yourself with people who love you enough to tell you the truth, not just yes men who stroke your ego. Stay small in your own eyes, and I will keep you big in the eyes of others. This is a warning born of love, my child. I want you to stay on the throne I am preparing for you, and humility is the gravity that keeps you seated there. I know you have looked at the calendar and felt a pang of regret. You count the years that seem to have been wasted in the struggle, the years spent fighting sickness, the years spent in a dead-end job, or the years lost to depression and confusion. You compare yourself to your peers, and the enemy whispers that you are behind. He tells you that you have missed your window, that you are too old to start over, or that the opportunity has passed you by. But I need you to understand who I am. I am the creator of time. I stand outside of time. I am not limited by the ticking of the clock. I am announcing a season of divine acceleration over your life. What took others 10 years to build, I will help you build in 10 months. I am compressing time for your sake. There is a difference between Chronos chronological time and Kairos divine appointed time. You have been living in Chronos, waiting and waiting, but you are stepping into Kairos. In this dimension, one day can be as 1,000 years. I can do a quick work in righteousness. I am activating the promise of Amos 9:13 in your life. The plowman shall overtake the reaper. This means that the blessings will come so fast that you won't even be finished harvesting the last one before the next one arrives. You will be planting and reaping simultaneously. The waiting room is closed. The movement has begun. Do not be startled by the speed at which things happen. You might receive a phone call in the morning that changes your entire trajectory by the afternoon. I am restoring the lost years. I know you can't get the actual time back, but I can give you the fruit of that time. I can give you the success, the maturity, and the resources you would have had if you had never struggled, and then I will add even more on top of it. You are going to catch up supernaturally. Do not worry about your age. Moses started in mission at 80. Caleb took his mountain at 85. Your youth is being renewed. Stop saying, I'm running out of time. Start saying, my times are in his hands. I'm aligning the right people, the right resources, and the right opportunities at warp speed. Sudden turnarounds are my specialty. You have been like an arrow being pulled back on a bowstring. The further back you were pulled, the more tension you felt. It felt like a setback, but it was a setup for a launch. I am releasing the string. Watch how far and how fast you fly. You are not behind. You were just being aimed. I want to talk to you about security. You have lived in insecurity for too long, wondering if the rug would be pulled out from under you. You worry that these blessings I am promising might be temporary, or that if you make one mistake, I will take it all away. You need to understand the nature of my relationship with you. This is not a casual agreement. This is a covenant. In ancient times, a covenant was sealed in blood and could not be broken without the death of the covenant maker. My covenant with you was sealed with the blood of my Son, Jesus. It is irrevocable. My promise to you is steadfast. It is the anchor for your soul. I am not a man, that I should lie, nor a son of man, that I should change my mind. If I said it, I will do it. If I spoke it, I will bring it to pass. Look at the rainbow in the sky. It is a visual reminder that I keep my word. I have made a covenant of peace with you, and the mountains may depart and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from you. I am placing a seal upon you today. In the Spirit, you are marked. The enemy sees this mark and knows you are off limits. You belong to God. You are under the protection of the Most High. This covenant covers everything: your health, your family, your finances, and your destiny. It is an insurance policy that never expires and has no premiums because it was paid in full at Calvary. You might ask, but Lord, what if I fail? What if I mess up? My covenant is stronger than your weakness. If you are faithless, I remain faithful, for I cannot deny myself. My love for you is not performance-based. I chose you knowing every mistake you would ever make, and I chose you anyway. You are secure in my eternal plan. Nothing can separate you from my love, not height, nor depth, nor angels, nor demons, nor things present, nor things to come. I want you to rest in this assurance. You don't have to maintain your blessing by striving. You maintain it by abiding. Abide in me. Stay close to the vine. As long as you are connected to me, the sap of life flows into you. The storm may rage outside, but inside the ark of my covenant, you are dry and safe. Stop looking for the disaster around the corner. Look for the goodness and mercy that are following you all the days of your life. This is my oath to you. It is signed, sealed, and delivered. My beloved child, we have come to the end of this conversation, but it is only the beginning of your new life. The test is officially graded. I have looked at your heart, your endurance, your tears, and your faith, and I say to you today, you have passed. You did not quit. You did not curse me and die. You held on when your fingers were bleeding. You kept walking when your legs were shaking. And because of that, you are graduating. I am placing the crown of endurance upon your head. Wear it with dignity. You are a survivor, a warrior, and a conqueror. I want you to square your shoulders. Lift up your chin. Wipe the last tear from your eye. You are royalty. You are a king's kid. Do not walk like a beggar anymore. Do not talk like a victim anymore. Walk with the swagger of someone who knows who their father is. I charge you now to go forth in peace and power. Go back into the world, but go back differently. Go back as a light in the darkness. Go back as a healer of the broken. Go back as a living testimony that God is real and God is good. The nightmare is over. The long, dark night has ended. The sun is shining on your face. Wake up to your miracle. I command the doors to open. I command the blessings to flow. I command the angels to move. And I command you to live. Live fully. Live boldly. Live joyfully. Do not let the enemy steal one more second of your life. I love you. I love you with an everlasting love. I love you more than words can express. I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Now, take a deep breath. Step out in faith. Your destiny is waiting. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. It is done. Amen. Your test is officially over, and the time of your singing has come. Now, I call you to seal this victory with a sacrifice of thanksgiving. In days of old, my people built altars of stone to remember where I met them. Today, your generosity is that altar, a permanent marker of your gratitude and faith. By sowing into this ministry through Super Thanks membership with a PayPal link, you are ensuring that this prophecy reaches the ends of the earth. setting captives free just as you have been freed. Honor me with the first fruits of your new season, and I promise to rebuke the devourer for your sake and cause your barns to be filled with plenty. This seed is your declaration that you trust me not just with your soul, but with your substance. Build your altar of support today, my child, and anchor your breakthrough in eternity. My child, do not let this word simply fade into silence. Seal it with your faith right now. I call you to prophesy your own breakthrough by declaring it publicly for the spiritual realm to witness. Go now and type the words, "My test ends today," as a sign that you believe my promise is true. As your fingers type these words, believe that you are signing the final divorce papers from your struggle and stepping boldly into your new season. I am watching, I am listening, and I am ready to perform my word in your life immediately. Amen.